This is a very thought-provoking conversation, and let me just start by saying, General Keane, thank you for the words you shared earlier in this hearing, reminding us all about what it means to be an American and what values we have, and the need to resist simple answers, especially the simple answer of bigotry. It seems to me that if you want to help ISIS recruit, some of the statements that have been attributed to some candidates for national office are the perfect advertisements for that recruitment. Muslims, don't let any of them in. We got to close all the mosques. This is a clash of cultures. My God, why not write copy ads for ISIS while you're at it? What a recruiting assist those inflammatory and incendiary words are, and in my opinion, they do not represent the values of America. You know, we had a sad and tragic episode in our history, and it was in response to something that happened in our country, Pearl Harbor. And it is almost universally seen in retrospect as one of the most shameful episodes in American history, when our reaction to the sneak attack by the Japanese government on Pearl Harbor was to intern Japanese Americans in camps because they could not be trusted. They were a fifth column. The Supreme Court upheld it, shamefully and regretfully, but only in retrospect. We didn't live up to our values. We didn't live up to our own ideals as a country. Even though the risk was real, it was demonstrable. There were spotters in Hawaii. There probably were some fifth columnists. But the reaction was not something commensurate with the threat, and certainly not something consistent with our values. It's easy right now to pander. It's easy right now to play to fears. You want to have a pause on refugees, people fleeing the very violence we're trying to stop. Well, why stop there? Why not? Let's have a pause on all immigration, because who knows who might be in their numbers, much bigger than refugee numbers. And while we're at it, student visas, tourists. God only knows how many people could sneak in as tourists. Let's pause on all of that. And you could make a case for it. Wouldn't be very consistent with who we are as an open society. And I'm not sure it's a practical solution to a very real problem and a set of real concerns and fears. We as elected officials, it seems to me, have a responsibility to calm fears, to call Americans to confidence and to the values General Keane referred to earlier in this hearing, not to exploit those fears, not to build upon them, not to demonize any group of human beings, however popular it might be at the moment to do so. I wanted to say that, Mr. Chairman, because we all look for easy answers, and all of us, I guess, are open to the temptation to exploit something at the moment, but it doesn't serve us well. And that's not our finest moment. And that's not, as Lincoln said, appealing to the better angels of our nation. Any of you are welcome to comment.
One comment I would have, and I think it follows up on your remarks, is as counterterrorism professionals, you look for opportunities to align your limited resources on targeted ways of going after individuals, not sort of broadly precluding, for example, all refugees or the examples you gave. And one example, and I know the committee has previously considered this, is that there are fewer than 1,000 Americans on the no-fly list. They can't get on an airplane. There's no restriction now in law for those individuals to purchase guns. The gun laws preclude people who are prior felons and other categories of people to not be able to buy guns. But somebody who's on the no-fly list can be stopped from getting on an airplane, turn around and go buy a gun. Stopped from getting on an airplane because they are believed, known, or suspected to be a terrorist, and they can buy a gun. So this is an area that would be more targeted to consider looking at individuals who can do something about, who already are on a watch list, already on the highest level of watch listing, that is the no-fly list. So as you look at opportunities to take steps that would be more targeted and would be better at going after people we already know or suspect are terrorists, that would be one thing I would recommend.
I think that's a brilliant point.
Well, I agree with the sentiments that are here. I mean, I always said to myself, you know, after what happened to the French, if I was running a meeting in the White House, I would have said, listen, I want us to look through the prism of this is 127 dead Americans and 300 wounded, and then how do we approach this crisis and do what's necessary to fix our strategy in terms of what's working and what's not working. And also, let's remind ourselves that we're not going to overreact and we're not going to hunker down in this country and get defensive. And I really think that's what leadership does. It helps to face coldly a crisis that needs action applied to it, and at the same time, it takes people's fear away. And so we're right in the middle of this in trying to support our strategy, and I think we're trying to be honest that there's really some significant shortfalls that need to be fixed. And at the same time, we have to stay true to our values in America and what this great country stands for.